to 404 Tutorial Not Found. I'm your host, Josh. In this video, I'll be making a thumbnail generator. Having just getting started with this whole streaming thing, I discovered that I hate thumbnails, or creating thumbnails, rather. Messed around with getting ChatGPT to create them for me. I really didn't have great luck. I don't know. Maybe my prompts aren't great. Maybe there's other stuff I need to do to get it to generate better thumbnails, but like content and stuff is fine. Spacing was not so great. So I just threw together some simple ones in GIMP, and that's fine. And I could probably create a template to make creating them easy, but I don't know. I just didn't really like it. So I thought a fun project to do would be to come up with some kind of web-based solution. Initially, I thought I would just create a sort of a static HTML document that I could go and, change some words in it, and then do some kind of screenshot or, use the print dialog or whatever. But the more I thought about it, the more I didn't like that solution. The reason being the aspect ratio of the thumbnail is important. And so, just creating a screenshot or whatever, then you still got to edit the photo to crop it or resize it to the right dimension. I just didn't like that idea. And or get your browser window sized just right, or maybe make it full screen. That probably would have worked okay. But then I remembered Canvas was a thing in the web world, and you can interact with that with React. React is just JavaScript at the end of the day. So I think with a Canvas element, we could put sort of the base styling and background and logo into it. Have a couple of HTML inputs that React looks at, or that modify React state when they're edited. And then we could modify a Canvas element in real time. That Canvas element could be the right size. And then we could just generate a PNG for download right from that Canvas element. So I think that will work okay. I don't know. Maybe we'll get 90% of the way through, and I'll realize something I had forgotten about Canvas. I haven't messed around with it for a long time. That will make it not a good choice, but we'll give it a try. And if we get through that, or we get fed up with that project, I do have some actual Rails work I need to do for a project of mine. So we'll get started with the thumbnail thing here. So we'll go into a source directory. I don't know. I put all my projects in home/src. Is that where you guys put them? So we're going to use npx create React app at latest. I don't know. I don't create projects that frequently. That's off of memory. Let's see if that's right. We probably want to give it a name, though. Maybe it asks you for a name. I think it actually asks you for a name. Okay to proceed. Yes. No. Need to give it a name. Thumbnail generator. Is create React app still even the preferred way to set up a new project? I don't actually know. Like I said, I create them so infrequently, and most of my experience is actually just creating little React apps inside of like Rails applications, since that is a huge part of my background. Anyway, I think this will work. And it's not going to be a huge React app anyway, so if we need to migrate this to something else in the future, we can do so. So we get tmux running here. I need to get base 16 manager or something running on this to set my color palette for tmux, because that is disgusting. Someday. Anyway. Let's start. Is it dev? I can never keep it straight. It's start. Great. We got the React thing here. I don't know why did that. We'll go into source. And we've got app.js here. We've got the app component. Great. Delightful. We're going to delete all of that. So we need a canvas element. That's going to need a ref. So we can interact with it. Probably going to want to set some other properties on that. I actually, it's been so long since I've messed around with Canvas. I have used it in the past, but I really don't remember how it works that well. So we're going to have to be bouncing around in the documentation quite a bit. All right. Sorry, attention was momentarily stolen for a second there. I don't need this logo. I don't know if I'm going to use the app CSS or not. I'm probably not going to do a whole lot of CSS in here. I might just go inline styles or something like that. We'll leave it for now because it's here. We are going to need use ref from React. I actually don't really like trailing semicolons. Seems like an unnecessary extra keystroke. I mean, maybe if I'm doing some kind of one-liner thing that has a couple of statements in it, but we'll get rid of them for now. And we'll fire up that ref. Not can. I don't know that it's entirely necessary to throw a default in there. And then we definitely need to make sure this thing is mounted before we interact with that ref. So we'll grab use effect. Just throw something on the screen there to make sure, that we're up and running here. If not, we can return from that. Okay, so now we got to fire up the Canvas documentation. Probably want to grab that from. That's probably too generic. W3 Schools is okay. I like MDN quite a bit. We'll use that. Maybe just browse through a tutorial to kind of get us started. It's going to walk us through it. Maybe go to basic usage. We'll give it a width and a height. That seems reasonable. Probably going to have a handful of props on here. And my indentation is wrong. I'll bet Tree Sitter does not have what is it? TS install. JavaScript. There we go. Didn't have JavaScript installed for Tree Sitter. Highlighting an indentation was all wrong. Dead giveaway. Anyway, we're probably going to have a handful of props here. I like the old multi-line in that case. What am I doing here? I do actually have Copilot installed in NeoVim on my for my day job on a different user on a different computer. And wow, it's amazing how, I don't know, There's certain things you rely on, certain things that are annoying. And just like little boilerplatey stuff is really handy. And it's just like, when it does it for you all the time, and you're like, wait, what is it? What is the import for, whatever library or whatever it is? Anyway, we'll grab that. Maybe we'll put a border on this. Probably won't ultimately want that, but it's kind of in a spot where, oh my God. I have to look into scaling because 1920 by 1080 is actually the resolution this VM is running in. Let's just go smaller for now with, was it 1366 by 720? That's a guess. I don't actually remember. But we'll start with 720. Okay, that all looks fine. I don't think I care about any of this. All right. Or actually, maybe the size isn't that important. Is canvas vector? I don't actually remember. Maybe we can choose the size at the time that we generate the PNG. I'm not going to worry about accessibility. This is just a tool literally for me. Applying styles and colors, drawing text. Maybe we'll draw a couple of shapes, give ourselves some interest. And then I think, can we, compositing and clipping, can we throw styles and colors? Using images, that's what I was looking for. We'll want to throw the old channel logo in there. All right, let's just start with applying styles and colors. We're going to want to fill in the background. And I tend to use Groovebox in most things, so we'll use those colors. I bet we can just look them up. Dark, of course. Do we just list the colors in here somewhere? Delightful. Can I copy and are they listed in text or do I have to type them in? There's probably somewhere where they're listed, but this is fine. We'll grab a couple of these colors. BG is going to be 28, 28, 28. So let's fill in the background of our canvas with that. Actually, we might need to go back up. Where does that CTX come from? Okay, so we get the element. We can use our ref to do that. And then we call get context. Okay, so we'll go CTX. We'll use their naming convention. Whoa, okay, 2D, okay. Then we can mark the background. What did we say that was? 28, 28, 28. Why did it do that? Oh, it's putting the color swatch in there. Oh, sorry. Fill style is the fill and stroke is for the shape we're doing. Do we have to draw a rectangle, or can we just set the background? Let's take a look. Do we actually have to draw a rectangle? I mean, I guess that's fine. That's fine. We'll just draw a rectangle over the whole thing. So fill rect, XY, width and height. That's easy enough. Probably going to want to put the width and the height in some constants. So if I change the size, we're not going to have to modify that later. And I actually don't even know if these numbers are right. For 19 or for 16 by 9. Start at the top left corner, and then we'll just use our constants. What? Why is that not reloading for us? Because it didn't actually re-render that component is why it didn't re-render that for us. We won't worry about that for now. Actually, if we just get rid of the dependency array, does that go on every render then? Okay, so it does do that. Begs the question of why are we even using use effect here? We'll want it later for when we change. Yeah, so we'll leave this way for now. So the issue we're having here is that the way this development server is running is it's not actually remounting this component. So this use effect doesn't run unless I refresh. So that's a little bit annoying for development. I want my changes to take effect as I save them. So if I get rid of the dependency array, then this this hook will run on every re-render. So if we change something, like to that, we'll ultimately change that because when we're not in the development cycle, we won't really be modifying this very much. But we will be looking at two state variables. So I'm basically going to have like a title and like a description. So I want some big text that's like the title, and then like maybe a little bit like a subheading down here. So I'll have two input fields up top for that. So ultimately, we will reinstantiate that dependency array. But for the, laying out of the background and all that, I really don't want that. The other thing we could do is just put a function in here and then call the function just in the body of the component. But this is just some something I'm not too worried about, because ultimately we're not going to be messing with this very much, and it's not going to be an issue. And also, I'm not really concerned about the performance of this app. I'm going to fire it up, generate a thumbnail, and then not look at it for a while. It's not like we're rendering a huge table of information and we're worried about re-renders slowing things down. So not that big of a deal. Okay, anyway, so we've got our background. So maybe we'll drop our logo on here, and And do I even have my logo locally? I want to copy it into this project. I think I'm syncing things between my host computer and my VM with Nextcloud here. YouTube channel logo, great. And actually, I want to crop that anyway. Just generated with ChatGPT. So, what am I doing here? I want to edit this probably. Do I have the GIMP installed on here? I do. Look at that. Not sure why GIMP needs the keyring, but whatever. We're gonna open an existing image that's in Nextcloud. Probably shouldn't really be using Nextcloud for this. I should just mount folders in the VM. That would probably make more sense. But why isn't Nextcloud in here? I guess we could add it. That would probably be smart. So this background is not a perfectly solid color, so we can't actually use auto shrink on this. So we'll just eyeball it. It doesn't have to be pixel perfect. I just want to get rid of some of this padding. And I think we'll use image crop to selection. And then I'm going to export this into our project. Source. Thumbnail generator public. Channel logo.png looks good to me. That's all fine. Probably going to find out the background of this is not actually 28, 28, 28. It's close. If I increase the sample size here, I bet it gets even closer. I mean, could probably just recreate this pretty easily. It actually got a little bit further away. Oh, well. Not going to worry too heavily about that. Actually, this looks like it's closer. Not even close. Anyway, this is totally inconsequential. We're spiraling. Let's get out of here. We don't really want to save that. Okay, so we want to go back into, we want to drop in a logo. It would be smart to recreate that logo as an SVG. In fact, I think there are AIs that will do that for us. Maybe ChatGPT will actually spit out an SVG of that logo. I don't know. SVG image element, when that's not what we want. I think this guy, maybe? Let's see what this looks like. That's not what we wanted. Okay, so it looks like we actually want an image element. And I'm going to struggle on the dumbest thing here is getting this image in here. Or actually, it's in public. We can just set the source to the file name. We don't need to bring it in as an import. Zero zero is not what we're going to want it, but let's just get it drawing for. Was that it? Let's take a look. Okay, delightful. And then do we just set the size of this image? Is that what we do? Is that the move? These need to be strings. What am I? Oh, the draw image function will take a width and a height. Where's the documentation for that? Oh, maybe we just go to scaling. Oh, look at that. Draw image takes a width and a height. Now we need to know the aspect ratio of that image, which I don't know. So whoops, that's not the button I wanted. We fire up the GIMP. So 540 by 737. That looks terrible. Why does that look so bad? Am I cutting pixels? Let's try. Make that 1. I just want to make this even. Or actually, what am I even doing? Why don't I just scale this to the size that I want? That would probably make more sense. What would even make more sense than this is vectorizing this. For now, I'm just going to scale this image. Scale image. That is not what I wanted to do. Percent. That is marginally better. Anyway, vectorization is obviously the answer there. But let's move this around a little bit. We don't want it at 0, 0. I think I want it, oh, I don't know. Oh, I have to subtract 30 and subtract the width of the image, which is now 35. We can just combine those. Where did it go? Why can't I do width minus 400? Oh, because I'm transposing X and Y. Let's try it that way. There we go. So if I wanted to be 30 pixels from the edge, I would say minus 160. Was it 5? Okay, that's good enough for now. Then let's drop in some text. We're going to want the color. Foreground 1, foreground 0. Oh, sorry, foreground is what I want. And I don't. Why is this just not text? It would be so nice if this was text. Anyway, we're going to set the fill color. That's what? EBDBB2. And then, what is it? Draw text. Fill text is what I think I want. Oops. Okay. So X, we're probably going to go like 30. Y, I don't know what we're going to do. We'll just start with 100. Max width is going to be important. We don't want it to run into that logo. We'll just set it to, I don't know, 400 for now. Maybe a little bit more. We do need the size of this, though. Oh, I see. CTX font. Cool. We'll get this from... Was it actually, you know what? Was it FC list? FC list, I think. Yeah. So I'm going to use Deja Vu Sans Bold, I think. Could I have used Tmux to copy that? I sure could have. Oh, did I just screw up my copy? I sure did. Clipboard is not playing nice for me. Copy. Paste. There we go. Probably could have just typed it in the amount of time I spent trying to copy and paste. Oh, well. Let's see where we got with that. Does not look like Deja Vu Sans. So I wonder how the fonts work, actually. It's definitely a system font that I have. So I would have expected it to work, but neither here nor there. We're going to make this a lot larger now. I think I even want it larger than that. That's pretty good. Copy that. We'll go much smaller. We'll go maybe 60. Not bold. I'd actually probably consider going light there. Oh, the max width does not wrap? What? Tell me that's an option. Styling. Font, text align, text base align, direction. Oh, measure text. That's interesting. That'll help us like vertically space things if I want to center them and things like that. Try to recreate like a flex column sort of situation with even spacing. Interesting. This may not actually matter that much because what I think I'll be able to do is use some text areas and maybe put my carriage returns in manually to figure out the best spacing. I think I'd like it better if it figured it out for me, but it might not be the end of the world. So let's just wire up some state here. All right, let's grab a couple of all right, and we'll set the text of these to the state. What are you mad about? Oh, need to put all the characters in there. Don't need those. Don't need that. It doesn't take the carriage return. Interesting. I might have to search on how to deal with that. Anyway, let's move the subtitle down a little bit. We'll make that a lot more dynamic. Maybe measure the text. Might have to do a search here, though. Oh, good old Stack Overflow. Oh, boy. Okay, this is promising if we decide to do our own carriage returns. What's this get lines function? What is that? Maybe that's not part of Canvas. Maybe I... maybe I'm just not reading this answer properly. I am tempted just to steal one of these functions here. So I think the move here, the general advanced text measurements. Measure text. This actually might be kind of a fun problem just to think through. I don't know if I want to think through it right now because I've still got that other Rails edit that I need to do. But the way I'm thinking about it is you use this measure text function, and you can start from the beginning or start from the end. So the basic idea here is if my text string is like this, so I would try to render, or I would measure the whole thing using measure text. And if the measured width is wider than the text box that I'm trying to draw in, I would turn this into an array by splitting on spaces, pop one off the end, recombine them with join, and measure again. So I would just loop through that, probably with a while loop, because I'm looking for the condition of this string fitting. So and I would pop them off of the end, and then I would push them, or I'd probably shift them into an array of remaining. So we do something like this. Or actually, no. We would measure it first. So we would say while we would do this inside here, though. Or actually, we can just do it with our actual string. We don't have to do a contrived example. That would be silly. So for title, we would do a we would do it this way. And then we would abstract this into a function, so we could do it as many times as we wanted. So and then we would need to wrap this in another loop. So what I would actually might do is do okay, so if and then we would want to So while the text array, or this is actually like remaining. Is it? No, it's not. Actually, I'm going to think of this as remaining. So at the beginning, we have everything remaining, and then we'll pop elements out of here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to create a copy of remaining. So okay, so text array is an array of all of our text we're trying to print. While there's still words in that array, we're going to keep trying to print. We're going to measure that. And if it's greater, we're going to start pulling words off the end and putting them into remaining. And we want to put them in at the beginning because we want them to be in the order. And is that unshift to put them back in? Shift brings one off. Unshift puts one in. I actually have to look. Unshift adds to the beginning. That's what we want. Good. Okay, so we'll pull one off the end, put it at the beginning of remaining. And then as soon as it fits, we'll drop out of this while loop. We'll actually want to print that. We'll want to print text array. Then we need to reset text array to remaining. And we need to move down each time. How do we print multiple lines? Because the carriage return character doesn't seem to do it. Oh, and that returns an object. We have to fix that too. So this measure text returns an object and it has a width property. And we put it in the wrong spot. And we should probably do this with the sub. Okay, we hit an error. We made it very angry. Uh-oh. We've got some kind of infinite loop situation going on here. So we'll just do this. Just for troubleshooting purposes. Yeah, just stop. Just stop. I know. I've angered you. Might just kill this tab. Okay, we got to join that when we print it, but otherwise that seems to be working. Not sure what happened before. What is it? Right here, we need to... Interesting that it'll print an array. Would have expected it to not do that. And we need to move down. We either need to move down or figure out how to get it to print carriage returns. I don't actually know. Mozilla was pretty tight-lipped about that. Oh, right. It just prints. Yeah, I knew it did that. Maybe it's just the wrong carriage return. Height. Looks like people are manually moving down. I can't remember if split takes a regular expression too. Yeah, it looks like they're just manually doing a line height. Okay, maybe there's a slicker way of doing that, but we can just move down. We can just keep track of where we are and move down. That's fine. I think I want to start abstracting this, though. Const function, I don't know. I mix them so frequently. What am I doing here? Just give it some name. width and line height, I think, is what we'll need. Oh, we'll need a context too, unless we... It's probably a cooler way we could prototype this function in, but we'll just pass it for now. And we'll copy the bulk of this business here. No longer sub, it's text, remaining watchdog. I'm not actually sure if we need this watchdog. We do need a line counter, though. I'll start it off at 0, and we'll increment it there. I'm probably going to regret deleting these watchdogs, but one of these arrays is almost certainly going to run away again. But oh, I know one thing that might... Oh, no, never mind. There are some cases that will probably trip this up, but I don't think I'm going to be too worried about that. Okay, I think that is good. We can delete all this now. And then, was it line height is the last one I need? Yeah. What was the text size? Yeah, we're stuck in that loop. Why? Oh, I think the word is too long is probably what's going on here. Stop kill t localhost 3000. No. That's curious. I'm going to throw that watchdog back in there, maybe do some debugging, but Okay, we'll kill you again. Oh no, I got a syntax error. Oh, because I put it in a dumb place. Or because I typed a comma in a dumb place. That's curious. I bet it did that like 10,000 times. What have I done here? Okay, so the condition is when we get to the end. That's messing us up. So if it's too long, I might just throw a debugger in right here. Because I'm sure this is obvious, but for whatever reason, it is just not clicking for me. So okay, so I don't know if I care about that. Can I make that go away? So let's just look at the state of what we got going on here. No, wrap text is what we want. That's our call stack. Sorry, watch expressions. Where? Show original variables? Oh, all right. Delightful. Okay, so we've got text is this. Text array is what we expect. So if we continue, I would expect this to have one less word on the end of it, and I would expect remaining to have the word fairly in it. So let's just see what happens there. What? Why didn't we get stuck here? Okay, so we're back to this situation. That's got everything. If we go again, do we hit that breakpoint again? Why don't we? Why? Why aren't we stopping here? Okay. So this is before the statement is run. We can run. We should hit this again, right? No, we're not hitting that again. That's doing what it's supposed to. This while loop is not the issue. Something's happening down here. Okay, we're going to continue. We're going to add the Y. Okay. So we're hitting this. So text array. Oh, this is for that. Okay. So now we've hit this. So now at this statement, text array should be one element smaller. Fairly should be in remaining. Good. So I'll bet what's happening is, I bet this is my problem right here. I bet this is not doing what I think it's doing. So let's just break down here. And now what's text array? No, text array is fairly... Oh, I'm not clearing remaining. That's the problem. We need to clear remaining. That probably would have been obvious several hours ago in my day, but here we are. Oh, we can ditch this. Go. A little bit less of you. All right, that was easy. We could probably ditch this watchdog. I'm just going to leave it because I'm not convinced we're not going to have some edge case where we have one word that's super long and it breaks it. You could probably catch that in an exception. I don't know. I'm just going to leave the watchdog in place so it doesn't like peg my CPU in an infinite loop or peg one core or however it's actually executed on the hardware. Definitely had some fans kicking on there. Anyway, so we'll leave that in place, and that will let us fix things. If this was like a customer application, I don't know what the right answer would be. Throw an exception, display an error message, that kind of thing. But I think that is good enough for now, and this should behave the same way. Although we're way closer to just screwing ourselves on that. Line height doesn't need to be nearly as tall as I have it set there. In fact, I bet we can just set it to the font size. Where are we at here? 120. Actually, I don't mind that. We'll add some. No, we can go way less on that. What am I doing here? Okay, I like that. I do want to work on the spacing. In fact, I think 120 is a little bit much for that. Going even 100. I think 60 is a bit much for that. Maybe 50. Okay, Okay, that's cool. Then vertical spacing. So this whole thing should have height. I wonder if we don't... We almost need like a measure function for measuring this wrap text. Because what I think I want to do... What I think I want to do is basically make these two chunks of text behave as if they were in like a flex column with space between, or space around, actually. It's like they would sort of center themselves. I think I might settle for just using some state. This is kind of a hack. This might be a cool place to use a slide, but we're just going to use a number. Oops, we need, and it's Y that we're looking to set. Set title Y. You know what? We're going to make those text boxes a lot bigger. How little can we do to this to make it not annoying to me? That is the real question. Not height. Okay, and then good. I'll probably throw some. Okay, and then we'll throw those Y offsets in there. Is that actually what I called it? No, I just called it sub Y. Okay. That's not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. And then we can go up here. And we can set the offsets if I can find what I'm looking for here. I guess that was 100. So we'll set the default to 100. And now you could probably just put the font size in there too, actually. That might be smart. Some stuff about what we'll be doing, blah, blah, blah. And then we can, oh no. What doesn't it like about that? Anything in the console? Nothing in the console. Title Y, sub Y. Set sub Y. Oh, despite being a number, does that come in as text? Let's just try this. Let's just try this. That input element might be setting that as a string. Yep, okay. That was it. Can you set, is there an increment property? Let's look at the MDN. I think incrementing by 1 might not be step. That's the word I was looking for. So we will change that. I don't know, 5 is probably sufficient. We will go with 5. All right. Bang, 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 bang. Okay. 10 would actually probably be sufficient, but hell, we could make it dynamic, whatever. Anyway, so I'm going to scoot that image over. The last thing I want to do, I would like to figure out the fonts, but I really do want to move on and whatever. This syrup, the font doesn't really bother me that much. Maybe we'll just switch it to Sans. Or actually, you know what? I'll bet it's just that we don't set the style. No, that's not it. What is this font? What font are you? You know what? I'm going to just try this. We're going to go Times. Is that? Where's this actually being set? Font family on body. Okay, and then label, we're going to go. That's definitely not right. I don't believe that that's right. Oh, that's the file name. This is the font name. I'll bet that's all it was. Yep. Okay. And I bet if we go in here and we go like that and like that. There we go. There we go. Just had to get the font name. I do want that to be bold, though. You suppose this says anything about... all right. Yeah, see, back to that serif font. Put the space in the wrong spot there. How do you set the font weights? Oh. Just start with it. Okay. Easy enough. All right. Winning. Delightful. So I'm going to scoot the logo over a little bit. And then I was thinking about just adding some color accent to this side. Maybe just a couple of like a triangle and then a couple like bars. Just using some of the same thing open like 5 times here. Just using some of these colors, maybe red, blue, and yellow, or blue, green. I don't know. I'll play with those for a little bit. And then I'll probably work on vectorizing that logo off camera or off of stream or whatever words I mean to say. All right. Anyway, that's all looking good. We're going to scoot the logo over a bit. Boy, I'm thinking... Boy, I can't really decide. I kind of like red. I don't know. I got to put a couple of these in. And I actually am going to need one of these tabs I just closed. Not that tab. No, we want to... There we go. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Not even that one. This one. Okay. Because we want to... Actually, not even this one. This one. Drawing shapes. Why can't I find it? Basically, just want a polyline. Is a polyline something we can do? A rectangle. Not really what we want. Drawing paths. Begin path. Close path. Okay, cool. So we'll just grab that. And of course, I deleted a line, so I cleared my clipboard. Okay. So we do want to draw a triangle. So we want to move to like basically the lower right corner. So that's what is it? Width and height. That's X and Y. Then I want to come over some distance, maybe 100 pixels. We'll see what that looks like. And then I want to go like, do I want to go all the way to the top? Maybe not. So we'll maybe go like height minus 100. Or no. Sorry, these are absolute coordinates, like 100. This should be width minus 100. And then I want to go, no, I'm not even thinking clearly. I want to go the next point. So I want to start in the lower corner, then I want to shoot over a little bit. So I need that point. So that's the X would be width minus 100 and height at the bottom. Then my last point would be X would be width and the height would be like 100, or the Y would be like 100. And then we'll fill that, but we want to set the fill to one of those colors. And I really don't know which one, but we'll just make a decision here. Thinking maybe this purple. So that's D3. D3 869B. Cool. Let's take a look at that. Let's kill this. Okay. I don't know if that's exactly what I'm thinking, but let's add another color. I think to make this easier, because I want the slope to be the same, what I'm going to end up actually doing is, I think it would be easier just to draw a series of triangles, and then we'll end up with lines, and they'll overlap. So, but we need to know the slope of the triangle to see where it's going to hit. Or do we? I don't know. Because these can go off the canvas. Let's just figure this out here. Let's grab another color. From here, let's grab this yellow. FAB D2F. F. There we go. And so if I start this one a little bit further, like 140, and we make it go 40 more pixels up the side. Yeah. So that ratio is not the same. So we have to figure out where it's going to hit. So we need to figure out like the height of the triangle is what we need to do based on the width. to keep the slope the same. And so if we keep the aspect ratio the same, then the slope should be the same. And I'm going to kind of do this backwards, I think, because I think these are going to end up going negative. Can I go negative with this? I can. Cool. That way I won't have to like figure out if it's hitting here or whatever. So we'll just keep going negative. We'll keep the slope the same. So what is the aspect ratio of this triangle is the question. So the width is 100 and the height is it's the height minus one, the height of the document minus 100. So So I'm going to do the height divided by the width. So the height, we're going to use a cool little Vim feature here, actually. Control R Control R equals. So Control R gets you into like buffer mode. So in insert mode, you Control R, and then you could type like A, and it would, or I should say register mode. Sorry. And you could type A, and whatever the contents of your A register in, it'll type in. Or if you've got something, any of the special registers, 0 for last deleted or 1 for last deleted, whichever it is. But there's a special register called equals that lets you type an equation. So down here, you can see on the command line there, we can say equals. We can say the height is 720 minus 100. I don't even know why I'm doing this. It's 620. 620 and then divided by 100. It's going to be 6.2. And I did integer division, so it's an even matter. So probably could have just done that in my head. Anyway, so I might just do a draw triangle function, actually. Within color. That can go in there. So we begin a path. We're going to start every one of them in the bottom corner. So the width. Oh, damn it. Don't really like using one-letter variables, but if we were smart, we'd do something like and the height, and then we're going to move up, and this is going to be the height of the document minus the height of the triangle, which is going to be the width times 6.2. We don't even need to put this in a constant. And this is triangle width. Not to be confused with the width. And then this will be color. Did I copy that? I did. Good. And we can just say draw triangle. And we could say 140. And we could put this color in there. Delete our extra stupid spaces. Oh, space ended up on the wrong side of where I thought. And then we could do the same thing down here. And we should be able to kill those. What have we done? One of those should probably end up right there. Would probably make sense. So we might actually change this around a little bit and specify the height. So the triangle width is actually going to be So the reason I'm flipping this around is I probably want one of these, triangles or stripes to hit the corner exactly. And specifying the height is going to be an easier way to do that. So, like if we want the yellow one to do that, we would just specify height in there. And we could change the aspect ratio a little bit. We could go to like 5. I guess just an arbitrary number. Change the angle of that. I think I want a wider bar, so maybe I'll do that. What if we add a couple of other colors? Or actually, you know what? I want this to be height divided by 2. Divided by 2. Integer division is fine there. So now these are equal, and these are equal. I don't know if I like that, actually. If we add one more bar, see what it looks like. So I actually picked these particular colors because I just picked up a bicycle that are these colors. It's an old Centurion Iron Man. But I'm not sure I actually like these colors in this context. So let's play around with some other ones. Actually, let's add one more. What are we doing here? And let's just grab a new color out of here. Maybe green, yellow, and blue makes the most sense. Let's grab blue. 838598. So I actually don't think I like them extending up here. So let's make this one height. Let's make this height times 0.6667. And let's make this one times 0.3233. Actually, not sure I like this at all, actually. Oh, the other thing I might try is making this one the height. I'm confident that's not what I wanted, actually. And then what if we change the ratio until these were roughly all the same width? I could probably just calculate it, but oh, actually, they never will be. I need to change these. So I need to set this to something that I like and then alter the other two. Okay, that's not too obnoxious. Actually, not even sure what these should be. I'm just not crazy about that either. Oh, the other thing that I think would work with this is a drop shadow. Is there a shadow in Canvas? Shadow color. Oh, it just works with fills. That actually might work. So just did it again. Just killed my clipboard because I'm super cool. All right, try that again without killing my clipboard. Five? I don't know. Oh, I want an inset shadow, though. I want inset. What am I doing here? Yeah, I'm going to have to do this the other way. So if I want these shadows to work the way that I am envisioning, what I actually need to do we need to move all this up above this. Oh. Oh. Actually, sorry, this. How do we get rid of the shadow? Okay, shadow color transparent. Okay, so I actually have to like invert how I'm drawing these triangles. Which I think I can just modify the function to do it. So I actually want to draw them like this way. Oh, now it's in all the text. Ugh. How is that happening before that? That is curious to me. I know why. It's because it's executing all this code. So we just need to move this up here. You know what? I'm just going to change this to all right, that fixes all that business. Now we're going to change how these are drawn. And then we have to draw one more. That's the background color. Okay, so We have to draw that one last. That one's going to be the height. Oh, but we have to decide where we're going to draw them. Oh, I think we can just draw the same triangle over and over again, though. Really, what we're drawing is a Y offset. No, that's not true. Okay, so anyway, so we have to go when we draw a triangle now. Where did draw a triangle go? So we have to go to a point like right here. I don't know what that is exactly, but we'll just figure it out. So it's going to be width minus, like, I don't know, 400. And it's going to be 0. Oh my God. There we go. Okay. Then we can go down. So we can go width. And then we're going to go down that way. And then we're going to come up to width minus 400 plus the triangle's width, which is going to be the triangle's height divided by some number. We'll just go with 6 for now. Actually, I think we want it steeper like that, like 18 maybe, and 0. So anyway, the black one's got to be last. It's got to be height. And these other ones all got to be larger. We don't want to offset the shadow in the Y direction. Blur needs to be a lot more. And it needs to be transparent. Oh, we can use an RGB value. Delightful. Okay, that's getting a lot closer to what I want. Now we just need to scoot that thing over and make those a little bit more even. Maybe change the angle a little bit. So the initial position is this 400. Oh, I'm starting it from that side. Okay. Got it. All right. So let's even those out as well. I want like a lot less shadow. I think I like that. Scoot him over a little bit more. Maybe add one more. Let's play with the angle a little bit. So the angle is set by this. The lower the number, the steeper. So if we take that down to like 12, it also affects this business. I actually think I'm kind of liking that. Let's just scoot this. All right, I think I like that quite a bit, actually. I'm not sure I'm sold on those three colors in particular, but let's scoot the logo over a little bit. And actually, I'm going to reference that from the left. I want to go quite a bit further. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's swap out that pink for green, I think. Probably going to regret closing all those. B8 double B26. 8 double B26. That's good. What about red, blue, yellow? So we'll go FB 49 34. And I kind of want to move that one up there. That was actually the opposite of what I wanted to do. What in the holy hell is going on here? There we go. Kind of like that. All right, cool. I'm going to call this project a day. Cool. I don't even think I'm going to host this anywhere. I think I'm just going to run it locally for generating the thumbnails. All right. Well, I spent way more time on that than I anticipated. Let's get out of this project. I actually think the other edit might be fairly straightforward, so hopefully we can get that done pretty quickly. I think I already have the project cloned here. I do. I've got some goofy old version of Ruby I should probably update. But I think that's new enough to not give us any OpenSSL problems, hopefully. Fan is spinning. That makes sense. Oh no. That's no good. So I'll bet this project will run on whatever this is, 3.3.8. Oh boy, that doesn't look good. Well, if I can't get this site running in the next couple of minutes here, I'm going to bail on this edit. It is getting too late. Oh, I probably don't even have Postgres running on this VM. Oh, maybe I can just connect to the host's Postgres. That should be accessible, actually. Yeah, I'm not going to chase gems right now. Welp, we'll have to pick up this project next time because I need to go to bed. Hopefully, you found something educational or helpful in this video. And if this sort of thing is of interest to you, subscribe and we'll do more of it.